Alright, hi everyone, my name is Janelle. I am actually an animal trainer currently, but I've been in the exotic animal field for almost a decade now. And so basically I just wanted to make a video because not only have a lot of people been telling me that I should educate the public on a different spectrum, but also to kind of talk about the thing that brought me into the field in the first place, and that's rhinos. They were something that really intrigued me right away and something that just captured my heart. And so for the last decade or so, I've truly made it not only a passion, but something that motivates me to help not only save the natural world, but to encourage the guests and public at my facility to also do the same thing with everything, not just rhinos. But they're what sparked my passion. So if you guys just wanted to learn a little bit of extra info, I'm your gal. So basically, the intro is just to give you a quick thing that says, I know my shit, I'm good. I've been working with rhinos for a long time and I know them like the back of my hand, so if I cover anything in here and you need more information, please reach out. I will talk about them all day long, but I promise that I won't. So basically, one thing that a lot of people don't realize is that there are actually 5 subspecies of rhino. And a lot of people just think of that one really big one in Africa. And truth of the matter is, guys, that there's actually 5 subspecies, and 2 of them live in Africa, and 3 of those subspecies actually live in Asia. And what's really interesting is that the really big one that we think of in Africa, that is the white rhino, and the white and the black rhino both have 2 horns. And the ones in Asia typically only have 1, which is pretty interesting. And that horn is really special. It's actually made of keratin and melanin. So that's the same stuff as our hair and our fingernails, guys. So nothing too special. But what's really interesting is that I think most of us know that the rhinos are being poached. Said that really weird, poached. And they're being poached for their horn, but their horn is not connected to their skull in any way. Just like cutting your hair, maybe sometimes somebody pulls it too hard and it is more connected than that, but you just look a little goofy for a while. So truth of the matter is that rhinos can live without their horns. And that's one of the issues, is that they're killing these rhinos for something that they don't have to kill the rhinos for. And they're actually very difficult to kill. There's something called a pachyderm, and it's a really fancy way to say that they have thick skin. And I'm talking like 2 to 3 inches thick, man. Like, it's incredibly thick. And so with that in mind, think of the weapons you need to be able to kill something that large. It's incredible. But these guys are also gentle giants. You'll see I'll start throwing some pictures in. They're gentle giants. They're herbivores. Can you imagine? I have had too many people tell me that rhinos are carnivores, and that would be absolutely terrifying. Can you imagine? White rhinos can get to be 6,000 pounds. Like, that's terrifying. I never want to imagine that. So that becomes its own conversation. But what's actually interesting as well is that these large animals can also live to be into their 30s and 40s, but we're seeing a lot of that not be the case lately because of all the poaching. And so I promise I won't get too doom and gloom on you guys, but it is really important that we talk about the poaching crisis, because 2 of those species are actually critically endangered. All of them are in danger of extinction. All of them. Every single species. And the issue is that, think about it, even our species, the white rhino, who has the most population, is still endangered. And that is because 1 rhino dies every 8 hours due to poaching. And you can imagine where that population is slowly, not even slowly, quickly dwindling. And the black rhino population, the other one in Africa, the population has gone down 98% since 1960. So think about that. But poaching is an incredible thing. It's illegal for the most part, and it's terrible and horrifying. But we only think of that because of how easy it is for us to sit back in the sidelines, especially in the US, and just say, how could you do this? They're such beautiful creatures. You're killing the ecosystem. But if somebody came from another country and said, whatever your full-time job is, right, however you support your family, whatever you do to live day by day, is killing the ecosystem, and destroying beautiful creatures. You would be like, you're crazy, you psychopath, get out of my country. And even though to us that seems like a really weird analogy, to them, they're not educated enough to realize what they're doing. They think that we're literally coming over there with this doom and gloom scientific facts that they don't truly believe and telling them to go fuck themselves, basically. And they do not take well to that. Shocker, I know. So basically, that's why we hadn't had so much success at first, and now we're kind of learning how to go about this. And one of the ways that we're successful is by actually giving them an alternative. So proving to them that they will make more money by saving the rhinos and keeping them around for tourists than they will by killing them because they think that it will cure cancer. Which, by the way, remember what that horn is made of. It would be the same thing as going to get a haircut and putting it in your tea and then drinking it and thinking it'll cure your cancer. We have scientific facts that prove that that's not true. So it's a very interesting topic, but it is really easy for us to sit back and say, how is this not fixed yet? Unfortunately, it starts with you guys. And like I said, I'm not going to get too doom and gloom because there are ways that you can actually save the rhinos. Yes, from over here. One of them, ooh, bug. Maybe I shouldn't do these videos outside. One of the ways that you can actually help is by working the legal system. Keep to date on information and sign some petitions, because usually what happens is that governors and all of these legal people, I won't get too much into it, but they actually see that people want to change. And sometimes that matters and sometimes that doesn't. One way that you can actually make a bigger difference is recruit wildlife warriors. Hopefully by watching this video, you guys become passionate and understand that these animals need helping. So, you know, you are officially a wildlife warrior. Welcome. Rhino sanctuaries are going on all over the place. That's also a wonderful way to help them. But obviously not something that the everyday person can do. But the biggest thing that I see a difference in is by engaging the public. And by doing that, you can educate, but you can also say, did you guys even realize that something is going on? And most people are like, well, yeah, but, you know, I got better shit to do over here. And that's generally how that goes. So you guys can be the reason that these animals come back from extinction, or not extinction, or not extinct yet. Don't get too excited. But you guys can be the reason that they come back and we can see their population just boom. Because something else is that it almost takes a year and a half just for these guys to give birth. It's not like it's going to be a quick turnover, but we have to be the change and we have to fight the good fight. And it's only because of you guys that we're going to actually make a difference. So now that I've already preached to you guys for almost 8 minutes, hopefully you're still sticking around for me. And if you haven't, I promise that the next one should be shorter. But this is my passion, I can't help it. So by sticking around for this long, I have one last story for you, because I feel like the public in general and humans learn best by stories. And one of the ways that I actually became mostly inspired by these beautiful, magnificent, amazing creatures is by an animal named Lulu. And I started working with her when I was just a teenager, even though I don't look like I'm much older than a teenager. If you guys have even thought I was older than 17, great on you. I promise I'm in my 20s. But, you know, when I started working with her, I was working with a lot of different really cool animals at a zoo. And she and I connected in a way that I wish that I could explain. So basically the story of Lulu and I becoming best friends is always one that kind of usually brings tears to my eyes, so I'll try to hold it together for you. But I had a really rough day. I was just this, 18-year-old little girl learning the ropes of the field. And my mentor was going off site for lunch, and she was like, hey, do you want to come with me? And I said, no, I don't. I want to sit here and wallow in my sadness because I'm a teenage girl and that's what I do. And so basically when she left, I just kind of fell apart. I literally felt my life collapse in. And I went and sat against these peach-colored gates that held two very large animals that could have killed me. And I put my back against them, well knowing that these animals could kill me. And I think it was just one of those moments where I didn't care. And behind me, I just felt this really large presence. And I was just singing "Hey Soul Sister." I'm sure all of you guys know that song because it was on the radio. And I could tell that she was intrigued by what in the hell I was doing. But Lulu had this upside down horn. And that's kind of what's cool, is that they can shape this horn to however they want because it's made of keratin. And they can rub it in whatever direction they want. And so hers kind of curved downward. And I just was sitting there, crisscross applesauce and singing this song, and I felt this animal put her upside down horn over my shoulder and into my lap. And it is an amazing thing when something that large uses her size as comfort instead of literally anything else. Um, and it was that moment that I realized that the rest of my life needed to be dedicated to those animals because they deserved absolutely everything that I could offer them. They deserved everything and more. And so these aren't creatures that are just going endangered and extinct. They're beings and individuals with an incredible thought process that I believe is worth saving. And the first step of getting them to be saved is by starting with you guys and sharing my story. So, like I said, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out, and I would be more than happy to answer those questions. Thank you so much for sticking around for such a long story. And if you guys are interested in learning about any other creatures, please let me know, and I'll see if I continue to do stuff like this. Thank you so much. Bye.